All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started here, and we are going to start talking about how to use WeVideo and make something similar to what I'm going to show you here in just a second. But to get started, you should be seeing my screen, and I just want to show you where these resources will be saved after we're finished with today's meeting. So if you go to our NTI website and you click on teacher resources and click on other online tools, then you will be able to scroll down to WeVideo, and this is where we've placed all of our WeVideo tutorials and everything else that we have done for WeVideo. So it will live right here. So here is an example of what I'm going to show you today how to do. All right, so I am not going to teach you how to dance. I'm going to show you how to move, not really move, but to make movie that is similar to that in WeVideo, just so you are able to do something similar to this. So my idea and thought behind this is to make something like for the end of the year where you have your teachers or your students and they pop up on the screen and they say something, and then at the end you want to make like this grid of them looking really cool. So this is what you would do inside WeVideo. WeVideo, this is like the intermediate side, so I'm not going to show you anything about the basics of WeVideo. There are plenty of tutorials on our website already on the basics. This one is more of how to make this type of video. So if you look down here at the bottom down here of my screen, you have the timeline for everything that I have in here. And you notice that each of these videos are their own video clips. Now, I did not have to put them all on their own track until the very end. It was just easier for me to keep track of them if they were on their own separate track. You don't have to actually do that, but for organizational purposes, it was easier for me to make them on a separate track. I could just have them all on one track until the very end, and then I can, if I put them together, then it's still going to give that same effect as if they were down below on the lower track. So you can have them all be one track until you're ready to make that grid box, because the grid box is really what I'm here to show you today, and how to do that. So what I did was, and if you want to practice this, you're more than welcome to practice this too inside of WeVideo, is I just went and found, searched on here, and I found some stock videos. So these are not actual people that I know. These are stock videos that WeVideo had on here. And I just typed the word dance, and all of them that were in here came up like that. So all of these videos were stock ones. I should have used the robot one. I forgot about the robot or the artificial people dancing. That would have been a good one. But these are all stock videos here. So all I did was go and find videos that I liked, and I placed them into my timeline here. So let's go in as if we're building a new one, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So we're going to save and exit here, and I'm going to open up a new dashboard, and I'm going to show you that when I open up a new one, I only have an audio and 2 videos, but if I'm going to have a grid box like I had, I have to have as many grid boxes that I have there. And so I have to really plan this out in my head on how I want this to look. So using a storyboard or something similar to a storyboard would be very beneficial for you. And when I use storyboards, I'll show you one that I have. I just use Google Slides to do a storyboard, and this is just a way for me to keep my ideas in one spot. Let me pull one up here This is a random one that I have been working on, one of the projects I'm working on. And so I can show you what it looks like. I use Google Slides and just use some boxes, and inside those boxes I type like a true storyboard would look, just so I can keep track of what I'm working on. So this is a good way to organize your thoughts in the boxes. Each box represents the new idea that I'm working on for that video. So you want to have this planned out before you ever start WeVideo, because if you get into WeVideo and you realize that you really want something that's supposed to be in the background, you want that in the background, you have to go, and it's harder to edit it afterwards than it is if you have it planned out ahead of time. So let's go through and add some more tracks here. So I'm going to just start hitting that plus sign and adding more video tracks, because what I want to add is video tracks to my files, not audio. So I'm just hitting that little plus sign, and I'm adding 7, 8 video tracks. I'm just going to add as many that will fit on the screen so that I can show you what I'm doing. Now you can, and this is a good recommendation for you, is don't ever use video number 1. If you leave video number 1 and you get later down the road and you're like, oh, I really should put something that behind that video to add it to there, then video 1 is going to be there for you. So if you're thinking you might make a mistake like I do sometimes, leave video 1 open, and then if you forget, like maybe you want that dance video in the background, but you've already built your video, you can put that video 1 in your video 1 spot, and it's still there, and you don't have to move anything. So let's go and let's do, let's just find a different one. Let's look and see what they have for classroom. And again, I'm just showing you how to do it, and then I'm going to show you how I would collect those videos as well. So let's see, that's a good one. We're going to just start dropping these in here. I'm just pulling them in to all of these are stock ones. I'm just pulling them in, and then we're going to make them look like they're supposed to here in just a second. So again, I left video number 1 because I don't have video number 1. And you notice I have these all stacked on top of each other, and when I hit the play button, since they're all full screen, it's going to show just that top one right there. None of the other ones are going to be there. So that's one of those things that we're going to have to, I'm going to show you how to make sure all of these are shown. So let's start with this video number 2. I want that to be shown first. So I'm going to move all of these out of my way here, and I'm just going to have video number 1 or video number 2 here. I'm going to change that so we can use it. This is the desk scene. And so all I did to edit my video number 3 is I click on it one time, and then I can change that to be a different one so I can keep track of these. Dark classroom. And these are chair. So that way I can show you, instead of saying video number 5, we can talk about it in the form of that. Okay, students, and then this looks like a writing picture. Okay, so we're going to take our desk scene and we're going to make that our first one. But before we do that, we're going to add in a clip here that has a title slide. So I'm going to just use one of the fancy backgrounds that we have stored in here in WeVideo, and just pick one that might be of interest to you. None of these really, but I'm just going to put that here at video number 1. And then I'm going to add a text overlay as well. Anything with a black background, remember, that will show through onto our video. Anything that's colored will take over the video feed. So I want to have something that has a black background so that I can just show that part. Now, I have not previewed any of these, and we're going to just add that there, and then we'll change that in a second when I'm ready to that. Okay, so I've got my title slide. I'm going to add a transition in here between that and this, and then I'm going to drag this video right here, and so that when I go from this blue, it's going to transition now. It's going to start talking about, you know, classrooms and how classrooms looked in March, and now at the end of the day in March, they turned out like this. Nobody's supposed to cry, so don't start crying, please. Then now this is what they look like, blah, blah, blah. And Then I'm going to cut this off here. I'm using those little scissors to show the cutting of the slides here. Okay, and so then the classrooms are here, but we really want our classrooms to look like this with our students working, not on a computer, but in an actual classroom. And here's another one. And again, I'm just building this out into in my little timeline as I want them to show through here. So then I'm going to hit the transition in here, and it's going to transition into that one. And if you don't want that long of a blackout pause, you could put them right next to each other, and so it won't be as big of a deal. Anytime you have a little bit of space in there, it's going to add that. So you have to like line them up exactly if you don't want that space. But I kind of like the black. Sometimes the black background to fade to the black and then the video to appear. It's your personal preference on what you like. So you can just move that around a little bit to get that a cleaner transition. And then, oh, I got off one. Let me move these up. I got my chairs. But now, they were back to that. All right, so I have got this nice little intro video of that, and I'm going to add that one. Notice I can put them anywhere because the timeline's linear. So even if I stack them in different spots, the timeline stays the same. So I can keep working on that in that spot. All right, and then see, that one was too long of a blackout. So I have to move that and the transition a little bit over so that I get that there. Okay, now I've built up these 1, 2, 3, 5 videos. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking these videos and making that grid view. So what I want to do is I want to copy. So you can copy this by using Control-C. You can copy these videos, and then I want to place them on just in an open area over here. So I'm going to place, oops, I'm not on a Mac. I got to use the right copy key. I was using my Mac this morning. I got my Mac keys mixed up with my controllers here. And then I'm going to just stack them on top of each other. And when you stack them on top of each other, that's how you add that box feature. And I'm starting them all at the same time. So if you get that little, you can't place this here, it's because your blue cursor is not in an empty spot. So that was what that problem was. And then I'm going to stack them on top of here. And then my last one's on top of there. Oops, did it again. Sometimes I hit too fast and it just tells me I'm doing it all wrong. Okay, so now all of that stuff can be deleted. And when I hit the play button, again, it's only going to show that top one. So what I have to decide is, how do I want this to look? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over. No, I'm going to move this one right up there to connect here, and then extend that video because I knew that video was a little bit longer. And then I'm going to start clicking on these videos. And when I click on the video, new screen's going to appear where I can scale it down. So I'm going to scale these down and decide where I want that video to go. So this is one of those things where it helps to have a plan in mind. And I'm just going to place that one up here in this corner. And now I can see the one that is below it. This is the students writing. The student one is below the kids that are writing. So I'm going to click on this one. And now I'm going to double click and use my scale. And then all I'm doing is dragging these into the spots that I want them. And if I decide, oh, that's too big, I can make them smaller. Depends on the size of your videos. If they're wide or if they're narrow, is where you get that video size, depending on what you want. And then let's see, this one, I've got to do this one next so I can see that. And I'm going to place that one right there. And I'm just, again, double clicking and scaling down to these here. And one more double click, scale this one down to be right there. And if I want to make it bigger, I can use these. And because that one is on the bottom, that one is on the bottom here, it will appear in the background. So it will appear behind because it's lower in the timeline than the other one. So I'm going to make that just a little bit bigger. And notice these two videos are on top of them. That's what I was talking about. And when I hit save changes, now these are on top. And so when I hit the play button, it now takes me right here. So I need to take this one because I have this one going a little bit longer than the other ones. What I want to do is I want to have this one zoom out into that box grid, kind of like I had that one girl that was dancing zoom out to where they all were dancing. So I'm going to double click that. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to cut there and double click on this small one. That's the small one is going to be the one that I transition. So I'm going to reset this one back to full size. So back to 1, scale it back to 1, and snap it back into place by fit to frame, which is where it was. And so that is there. And instead of using the scale feature, this time I'm going to use my animation feature. And when I use my animation feature, I want it to start big, but I want it to end someplace else. So I'm going to hit the end button and hit save because I have to go to my other one, which I've already got in the place that I want. And I want to get this information right here. Oh, don't do that. I want to get this information that's right here. I want to get this 0.5 and this 958x and -4. So I'm going to have to write that down so that it can go into that spot, 958 and -4. So my scale and my X and Y position so that when it zooms out and it goes into that grid, it goes into that spot where it is in the next one. So let's hit save. Now this is probably gonna be pretty fast because I'm gonna go back to my animation because it's such a short clip. And I'm gonna type 0.5, that was my scale, and my position was 958 and then -4 on my Y, and so that I hit there. So now what we'll see is it's gonna play, and then it's gonna zoom out, and it's gonna appear in all those spots. And as I saw, all those blocks kind of appeared, so I can make this a little bit bigger and see that probably these aren't all lined up where I want them to be. So I can make those all lined up just a little bit more. And I use my little zoom in key down here at the bottom above where my time is. That's how I make them bigger or smaller so I can zoom in or out to see the video a little bit easier. So let's go back now and see what this looks like. Now it's going to do that. And so if I wanted to have those blocks appear a little bit sooner, I can move these a little bit further, but leave that one. I can move them a little bit further so that as it's starting to zoom out, all of those appear. And the nice little thing is I can add transitions to these at the beginning so that they kind of just appear. They don't, it's not so harsh of an entrance. So when I move those around there, and so that now as it's there, they kind of appear instead of just going, bam, I'm right there. And so that's how you do that. And then you can also clean up your endings a little bit by chopping all of those that you don't want if you wanted to end all at the same time. Just line up your blue line and then highlight by click, hold, and drag, highlight all the videos. And then you hit that little scissors, and that's going to take those away. And then I can start deleting them. Now, like I said, I left behind my video 1. So if I wanted to add something in this spot and I didn't remember to, I could have video 1 there. But maybe I want to add a "We Miss You" or something like that over top of it. I can go to, I have video 7 here. And the nice thing is I can add on top. I just can't add to the bottom. So if I needed to add one more, I could. And I'm going to go to, let's see, let's do a motion one that just kind of appears in the middle. And this is a text overlay. So text, and it's a motion one. And I'm going to double click and say, "We miss you. So, and you can pick and choose what you want, and you can change the colors. Like if I don't like this peach color, I can change it to maybe a green. And so that when it appears, it will be there. So as that's going down, now that's going to appear so that you have, think about it like your teachers are there or your students, and you could say however you want to say it, but you have that box appear for them. And then I'm going to make that a little bit faster by just dragging that a little bit slower so that it goes away with the picture. So that's how you do it in a really fast way. Part of the reason we're doing these small little chunks is that we just show you one aspect of it, so that it's not so overwhelming with everything else, because WeVideo and any type of video can be overwhelming. So again, how I got these stacked on top of them, I double clicked that video after I stacked them in my timeline straight up and down because I want them all showing at one time. I double clicked and I used the scaling feature to get them smaller, and then I moved them around over here in my work area to where I wanted them placed. And then to get this one, I used my animation here to start big, 0 and 1. It's right in the middle. And then I want you to end where I told you I wanted you to end when you were all stacked up to there. So that's how that works. And then you can add some little music over it. Let's do a, no. Let's do this one. So I just picked this video. You know, audio is very important to video, especially if you're doing something like this. But what's really important is that you use audio that you can actually use, not audio that has been copyrighted, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. If you post it someplace that does like audio checks, like YouTube, this is royal-free music inside of WeVideo. So we're just gonna kind of watch this. I never really put anything on that one. Oh, this is very sappy. I'm sorry. Okay, that's going to probably make people cry. We don't want that one. I mean, maybe you do want that one for something else, but let's do, maybe I should just get off of this one and do a feel good. Sorry it's so loud if it is. Let's do that. I know, I like the sad music too, but it's not supposed to be Crying Wednesday. No, that definitely is not going to work. But anyways, you're just finding music that fits your mood of your music that you're trying to do in your video, and it just adds a different layer. So video and audio go hand in hand, and it's very important to have those type of things. So I'm looking up here my preview to watch it. Preview gives me a low quality video. But when I actually publish it, it goes to high def. Okay, I was getting a little too emotional here. I gotta just stop that because it's gonna be too much for me. All right, so if I want to add a fade in there, all I have to do is make my video audio a little bit longer. Notice that let me go back because I probably did that too fast. Notice what I did was I took my blue line to the spot that I wanted. I went a little bit further because I want that fade to a black. I don't want anything there. And I use my scissors to chop that off. And then I can delete this. And then I can use this little white line, white dot here. This will add in a fade if I just drag it. Actually, I have to click on the spot that I wanted to start. So I have to double click this blue line to add this fade. And I can drop that down right there. So in that few seconds, it would be right there. Another way to fade is to double click, and your audio features will come in. Come on now. It's not giving me my audio features. Probably because I deleted them. But if you have audio that you bring in, then you can add in a fade right here, your out fade, however far you want that, if that's what you want to do. And you can also have a volume control meter right here as well. There is music on Soundsabon that you can use. I have a link to Soundsabon. I'll have to figure out what that. I made a bit.ly for that, and it's in one of my folders. Let me hang on one second. So Soundsabon is free, and then yesterday in the one that was on WeVideo, Jeremy was talking about how his students use Bin Sound, which is a royal-free music, so you could get sound from there too. I just have this. I had it as a bit.ly, but I don't remember what the bit.ly is. So I'm just going to share this with you all inside of the chat. If your school's not on here because you're a new school, then feel free to use the one that is closest to you. Like nobody's really checking any of the permissions. We're just hoping that people will use it. It's taking a second to pull up the list. I have a list of all the schools and their email or their addresses for all of that, but it's not popping up. Normally, the school is like your short little code. Like, you know, if you're LTMS, it was LTM, or if you're Leestown, it's LMS. That's your login, and your password is just sound. But I have everybody's specific ones. Like I said, we don't have the newer schools, like Douglas wasn't on there, and the newer elementary schools are not on there. So whenever I used it, I just used what does that say? Anyone with the internet? Okay. When I used it, I just used the IAKSS because I know that's probably not being used. Just, you know, it's not being, you're not getting it for your school. It's just a code that you can share with your staff for that. So that link right there will take you to the document that has all of the schools and all of their usernames, and then all of the passwords are the same for that. So that is how I was going to do this one, and then adding in a nice little fade there so that it's over with and done. Yeah, it can be done for an end of the year music recital. The problem is with music is if you're trying to do a piece that is overlaid on top of, and they're all playing the same, is you have to do some editing to that audio inside of a different, something other than WeVideo to get that audio done. But if you're just wanting kids to play their instrument and you have one kid play, then the next kid plays, and the next kid plays, and you put them all together, you could do something like this. Another great tool that I was going to show you to use for collecting video is, let me find the one. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Is using Flipgrid to collect your videos. And then you can actually download your Flipgrid to download those videos and pull up your Flipgrid inside of there, and then you can have a whole bunch of videos. But the nice thing is that everybody keeps their same the same formatting, and you don't have to worry about it. So here I'll show you an example. So these are some videos that we did to show how to do. Ashley was showing how to do the mixtapes at the end of the year and those type of things. But I just wanted to show you if I download the video. So I go to Action and download this video. It's going to take a second, then it's going to say I can download this. So I can download that video. And so the nice thing about this one is you can put the music underneath of it instead of just doing the mixtape where it'll just continuously play. You all did it. You all made. Okay. Instead of just, it'll continuously play over and over. This one, you can have them all in one, and so they just have to watch one thing. But then I can just take and add this to my media. Oh, I lost it. It was right there. And then I can add that into here. So let me see. It's going to be one of these ones at the beginning here that download it. I'm just going to download it again. I don't know where that one went. Oh, it starts with a B. That's why. They don't give you a nice little clean download button. So I drag this into my media, and then I can add this into my video right there. So Flipgrid's super easy. It's a great way to collect video, and you can, if you're like, don't make more than a 30-second video, and they send you a 2-hour video, Flipgrid, you can chop them off of 30 seconds, like Claudette said. So, and it keeps all of their fun little add-ons there that they did. So like this one was some stickers that I did inside of there, so that all of that stuff stays there when you download the Flipgrid video. So that's just a way that you could collect on them. And there is a way to set this up. They're all on our website on how to set up your Flipgrid so that it's all done. So Ms. Kathy, that would be up to you. If you want your video to be a minute and 30 seconds, so you want them to play a minute and 30 seconds, then you can compile all of those into 1 minute and 30-second sections. However you want it to, that's up to you as the person doing this. This was just a demo. Like you could have several different ones, and I did 33%, but this video that comes from Flipgrid, because I did it on portrait side instead of landscape on my phone, I can actually make this smaller, and I don't have to keep that background black, so that when I have a whole bunch of them, I can have them all up here at one time, like a little selfie at the end, or have everybody at the end of their video. Make sure you wave, you could do something like that, make sure you wave. So then at the end, everybody in their little box is waving, and you did that little box tape at the end, like the Brady Bunch style, and everybody's waving. So if you make sure that you say, this is the video I want you to do, make a we miss you video, or make a what did you learn this year video, and then at the end I want you to wave. Well, then at the end, that wave is going to have everybody on their little boxes there waving at whoever you want them to wave to. So I wouldn't do that if I would just show the video, and then at the end I would make everybody wave. So that would be that. All right, well, that is all I have. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box and ask those questions. If not, thank you all for stopping by. We have more trainings on our website, and we're going to be continuing to do more beginning and intermediate WeVideo stuff like this. That's one step. That's all we're going to show you, so that you don't get overwhelmed and you learn a little bit by little bit, and you could go back and watch it for yourself, or give it to your students, have them watch it, because your students are going to do it a lot faster. They can do this a lot faster. So, all right, well, everybody have a great day, and we hope to see you around.